Hello and welcome to another lesson. In this lesson, I will explain to you the 3D coordinate system for 3D games. It is a way of specifying the position of any object in 3D space. So any objects in the game, including buildings, boxes, ammo, grenades, non-playing characters, whatever, anything has got a 3D coordinate specification attached to it. So for example, take the player. The player will have 3 numbers which can uniquely identify exactly its position in the game. So it will have an X coordinate marked by the purple x-axis. It will also have a Y coordinate marked by the pink axis, and it will also have a Z coordinate marked by the vertical blue axis. So the horizontal axes are usually X and Y. So X and Y could be interchangeable, and it's not really important to know which is exactly X and which is exactly Y. But the Z-axis is usually the vertical one, but not necessarily so. It could be different for different games, but most of the games will follow this convention. So each of these data type is a floating point, usually 12.3 for X, for an example. So the origin is 0.0 for X, 0.0 for Y, and 0.0 for Z-axis. And it increases along the axis. Usually, when the player moves to the right, the X-axis will increase from 0.0 and keeps going up. And if the player goes to the left, it will decrease. It will decrease all the way from 12.3, 12.2, 12.1 all the way to 0.0, and then takes on the negative value, negative 0.1, negative 0.2, and so on. The same holds true for the y-axis. If the player moves front and back, the y-axis could increase. If it moves forward, it could increase to 7.9, 7.8, 8.1. If it walks towards you backwards, then it might decrease 7.8, 7.7, 7.6, all the way to 0.0, and then negative 0.1, negative 0.2, and so on. And if the player jumps, the z-axis might increase from 0.0 to 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, and so on. So this is how the coordinate system works. In Cheat Engine, if you wanted to scan for the Z, X or Y axis, we need to use a different method. Since we don't know the initial value, so we have to set the scan type to unknown initial value, and for the value type, we usually use float, because most of the coordinate system in games are floating point numbers, because we need decimal places like 1.2, 3.4, we want to have quite exact values. So after setting the scan type and value type, and then we would scan the first value, the first scan. The first scan might return many results, a very long list, so we need to trim it down. For example, if you are scanning a z-axis, z-axis is a vertical axis, it might return a long list of results. So we need to reduce that results by trimming it down. So to do that, we will move the player up or down by jumping to a box, for example, or coming down the stairs and going up the stairs. And once we have moved the player up or down, then we will scan the increase value. We will set the scan type to increase. For example, if the player walks up a stairs, then we will set increase value. and then we will click next scan, and that will reduce the results further. Then we let the player keep still, don't move up or down, or if you want, move him sideways, either along the X or Y axis. It doesn't matter what axis, just move a little bit, and then select unchanged value, and then next scan again. So that will eliminate the X and Y axis from the release, leaving only the remainder, which will include the Z axis as the remainder. Then we let the player walk down the stairs or jump down from a box, and then we set the scan type to decrease value, and then we scan next scan. That will eliminate further. So we repeat this cycle again and again and again and again repeatedly until we get a few results, a few hits, maybe 10 or even less than 10, let's say. Then we add all those 10 to the cheat table. Once you have reduced the results to just a few, add them all to the cheat table. Next, we use the freeze method to eliminate the false positive. So in the freeze method, which I have already taught you before, you will freeze half the results in the cheat table and see whether the player freezes. If the player doesn't freeze, we can delete this half and then freeze the remaining half. So we keep on repeating this binary search method. It is called a binary search because we are using either first half or second half, then eliminating it, then repeat the same repeatedly again and again using the binary search until we find the exact address that we want. So this is the method in a nutshell of what is a 3D coordinate system and how to scan for unknown values using a cheat engine. So in the next lesson, I will show you how to do this using cheat engine. Thank you for watching.